How did that go? What did you find out about your psychic by doing that? Yep.
How do I know if it's really psychic or wishful thinking?
That's a good question, and that sometimes we get wishful thinking. The other thing that comes in through really strong is fear, right? Fear or anxiety. And the way that you can know that is by how calm you feel about it. So if the information comes, like I can get really information that I think would make me upset, but when it's my guides, I don't feel anything about it. So if it's wishful thinking and you're kind of like, okay, that would be nice. Yep. You're trying to what? You saw a triangle? So that triangles, often our guides can come in any shape or any, sometimes somebody else told me today they see their guides as shapes, right? So that was a shape and was a color, and that's probably your guidance sending you energy. That's great. Yep. Yeah. Oh, how funny. That's funny. Nothing's a coincidence. Any other questions or, yep?
I felt like, I don't know, I didn't hear, see anything, but my body was calm from that state. And it's like, it wasn't tense, but it wasn't calm. What does that mean?
Well, the calming comes from probably just the grounding that we did.
Yeah, that was really nice.
Yeah.
After I asked the question, I didn't feel tension, but like, I felt something, like, I don't really know what it means. Was it to my question?
Right, and sometimes this is the part where it takes a little practice, because our guidance uses a different language than the rest of us. It uses the language of the creative side of the brain, the unconscious side of the brain. So usually it comes through symbols, and learning to interpret the symbolic language of your guidance just takes a little bit of time, right?
So just keep asking those questions, and eventually I'll start to...
Yes. Yeah, and whatever you get, you want to ask, well, what did that mean for me? So you might have seen something, and what it meant for you might not be the same as what it meant for me. So ask, what does that mean to me? What does that image mean to me? Great question. Yep.
Yeah, you said something about fear. I was very afraid this time. I had been in class earlier.
Yep.
Meditation, I was very calm, felt warmth. But this time, there was a big fear.
Yeah, so when I teach a psychic development class, and we spend the entire first class talking about fear. Many people are really afraid of opening up to their psychic, and there's lots to be afraid of. Some people are afraid they're going to go crazy, or they're going to see something they don't want to see, or people will think they're people will think they're strange. The other thing that people get afraid of is that you could get afraid of the answer, and this is a hard one, because your guidance will tell you things you don't want to hear all the time. All the time. Yep.
Is there any special way, like when you're talking about that's one thing that I tell my daughter all the time. I don't like watching the news. I don't like reading newspapers. Because she say, I feel something if you hear about a child raped, or I don't feel it as if it's wrong.
Yep.
How is there a specific exercise that you can do to release that? Because that just like goes right to my gut and right to your heart.
Yeah.
How do you release it?
Right. So you find that lingers for a long time after you. That grounding exercise we did, where you blow the energy down. You really only need your empathic hit for like 30 seconds, and if it's sticking around for longer than that, you just find some way to ground it and ground it into the ground and release it. And that is one of the things that takes a little bit of. The other thing that happens for me is I find that the more I open my heart in compassion, the more I can tolerate that stuff, and I have to deal with that stuff all the time in my work. I do a lot of mediumship work, so I get people that are really suffering, they're in loss, and I just find that the more I can ground myself and open my heart, the less it rocks me. Yeah. How are we doing for time? Yeah, you got a question?
I'm assuming this is visual, so I'm assuming the opening of the pineal gland. I get the small, like the home movies.
Yep.
Where you can see start to see, it doesn't always make sense. I have to really know, like, look, and I'll only see it from a certain angle. I have to be a
Yep. Yes, and that's what I was talking about, that sometimes it takes a little bit of training to learn how to interpret what it is you're seeing. Yeah, so you have in your head your own personal symbol library that is a combination of what's true for you and also sort of the universal or archetypal symbol library that's common to all of us. So things like learning how to use the tarot deck, for example, or finding books about dreams and sort of understanding common archetypal symbology can be really helpful for that. Yeah, good question. Any other questions or comments? Yeah?
I've had incidences where I'll think of something and then it happens, or my answer is, the question is answered. For instance, I was working with a coworker once, and she had some, and she had left to go get some coffee, and I said, "What did you say you had some medication?" She came back and said, "Oh, I'm pregnant."
Mm-hmm.
She was 4 months pregnant, and I couldn't even tell.
Right.
Is that a type of...
Yeah, and the pregnancy, the two things that what you're feeling, sometimes it's called precognition. And, well, in that case, she probably already was pregnant. But when we feel the energy of life and the energy of death have a really strong resonance for us, so being psychic around life coming in and also people dying. So, you know, many people have sort of precognitive hits about somebody's going to die, right? Because the energy is so strong around those events that we feel them. We feel them coming a little bit down the track before they get here. Has anybody ever had sort of a precognitive experience that somebody was going to die? Yeah, that's pretty common. Yep. Yep. You gotta have a question?
What's the difference between guiding and feeling? And which one you should listen to really?
Between guiding and feeling? I'm not sure I understand your question. What do you mean?
Well, if something comes to you, you don't know whether it is the right thing for you or not.
How do you know it's your guides and not just you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, listen to what they say. You know, listen to the tone. And if it has sort of lack of emotional intensity to it, it's probably your guidance. Because our own stuff has a lot of, you know, emotional heat to it. Right? So there's really, does anybody have psychic dreams? Yes. Yeah. So there's really three kinds of dreams that you can have. One of them is the dream that, that's when we talked about all the sensory data you pick up, your brain will actually dump its cache of unprocessed sensory data through your dreams. I call those dreams like brain salad. Like, they don't make any sense. They're just like flushing. The other kind of dream you can have a lot of emotional intensity to it. You know, so in your dream you're upset about something. If you have that kind of dream, that's a part of your subconscious that's talking to you. And it's a part you're probably suppressing in your regular life. So if you're a person that doesn't let yourself feel sad, you may have dreams where you're crying. Or if you're a person that doesn't let yourself feel angry, you may have like rageful dreams. So that's kind of a part of yourself that you pushed away, going, hello, pay attention to this. The third kind of dream is a prophetic dream. And those are the dreams that your guides will send you. And those dreams you can tell because there's no feeling to them, even though you might be seeing something that you think would create a lot of feeling. And the other thing about them is you'll remember them for a long time. You'll remember them when you wake up in the morning. You may remember them for years afterwards. Right? Yep.
I know a lot of times when things are going to happen, they happen. And the morning of September 11th, actually, I was in the shower. And I'm from New York, but I live in Massachusetts.
Yep.
And I'm in the shower, and I always feel everything in the shower. We talked about before in the seminars that you feel things because that's where you're clear and thinking for everything.
Yep.
And I knew something bad was going to happen, and I knew it was something close to me, and I couldn't figure out what it was until after I got to work and I was working at the hotel and I saw that it was on the TV, and I was like, and everybody came to me because I knew I was from New York.
Right.
You know, I want to figure out how. I know that, psychics can tell.
You know, not really. Every psychic I know felt that one coming a long way away. I did too. But nobody knew that's what it was going to be.
You don't know what it actually
No, until afterwards. And that's the problem with precognition. Hindsight's 20/20 on this one. You know, I can always feel when something big is coming. Sometimes I feel things that never happen. And sometimes I see things that I have no idea what it was until afterwards. And then I'm like, oh, well, that explains. So everyone felt that one, but no one knew what it was going to be. How could we? How could you even imagine what that was going to be? Okay, one more, and then we're going to stop. Yep.
I didn't see that coming. I worked in the World Trade Center years ago. I didn't
Yep.
feel it coming, but I was extremely depressed, more so depressed than I should be, actually, even
Yep.
having known people.
That's the empathic hit. That's the empathic hit. It's the same thing with the tsunami. When that happened and so many people died, all the empaths in the world felt the empathic hit of that event. All right, we need to end. The lady just came and told me that's time to stop. So thank you for coming today. I appreciate it. Thanks. Sure. Yeah. Thank you.